Guys ready to rock?
Sure.
How you like that? I'm gonna call. Am I supposed to do it after I say?
Everybody turn on their microphones.
Call to order the City of Tenino work session for July 9th, 2024. We have a few things on our agenda, but it's pretty light today, so hopefully we can get through it fairly quickly.
Yes.
Go back to our hot
We can take
hot
our
houses.
time. We've got air conditioning here.
I've got air conditioning at home too.
So do I, but this one's stronger. And I pay for the power.
First thing is to review the agenda for tonight. So if you guys want to, I'll give you a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
looks
You
good
can
to
take a
me.
look at the agenda and see if you see anything you want to add or delete.
Excusable block.
Oh yeah, I need to add that on there, huh?
Do you need to put that change order on the agenda?
It is on there.
Oh, see,
put it back
I
up.
have to reboot. Because this,
And then was there
I brought
anything,
this up
all
this
the
morning.
Flicker.
Mm-hmm.
I need to add that to the.
I think it was on the agenda though, it's just not on the consent calendar.
Yeah, when I read it.
Yeah.
I'll just add it to that. So when I read it, it's a.
Pardon me.
What?
Okay, any changes or all good? Okay, council priorities. Anybody have anything they want to bring up on council priorities? I don't have anything in particular,
I don't
but
even.
if anybody does, feel free to.
When is our next finance committee meeting?
We haven't really set one. I don't
Did we
think.
set
I think we did set one, did we?
Did we? What? Our next finance committee meeting?
We did.
We haven't set one?
Just a comment. I was going to mention this. I'm going to the budget. The MRSC's putting on a budget thing at the end of the month, and they're going to set us up with just a consultation with me to talk about our budget and how the best way to manage
good.
this.
Okay.
So maybe we could have one right after that,
Okay.
if we don't have anything scheduled, because
Thank you.
that would be a good time, I think, to kind of share where we're at with that stuff.
So when is that?
It would be after August 2nd. I'll be done there, so sometime after August 2nd, we could.
Okay.
And I can share what suggestions they made, and we can talk about that.
Okay.
I did kind of just a general review of where we're at on the budget. I'll start by saying we've had some expenditures at our ag park, so we have money going out and haven't got some funds back from some of our grants. You know how that goes.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
we spend it and then we have to ask for
Money in, money
reimbursement.
out, yeah.
So there's, one of our funds looks like we really took a big hit, but it's just because we haven't. But our general fund, I'll go back to the start. We started the year at minus $393,000 after we got all the review. So far this year, we've had revenue of $865,000 and expenditures of $1 million. So our balance right now is basically minus $570,000.
Hmm.
Now there's some money out there that's coming in, and that was what we talked
That's the
about
way it
last
always
time.
happens, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, taking that money we have invested with
Okay.
the state to help with. But the pool fund is maintaining. We have $21,000 in revenue and $21,000 in expenditure, so that was maintaining there. Our street fund is improving. We started the year with basically a minus 213,000. Now we're down to minus 109,000. So we've made a pretty good size movement forward in our street fund, which is good. Capital improvement fund. This is where we've spent a lot of the money comes from for the ag park. So this is the one I was talking about. We started the year with $99,000. We've had revenue of $675,000, and we've spent $1,250,000. Again, got several reimbursements coming back on that, but on that one, it looks like we really took a backslide, but it's not as bad as that one. That one looks. All the other ones are no change. Basically the same position. All the other funds are doing good. The water fund, the sewer funds are all looking good, maintaining their balances pretty much. So that's kind of where we are on the budget, just a general overview. And again, if anybody ever wants to look at details, I can show you as many details as you want, but just get a hold of me and I'll sit down with you and can show you where things are.
What is this asphalt? What is that for? Oh, for the quarry. Quarry asphalt. It's
That's for pothole repairs usually.
Yeah.
Where they do
Okay,
pothole repairs,
okay,
they get some
okay.
asphalt. So that's kind of the overview of the budget. Is there any questions on as far as where we're at?
nope.
Can we sneak some funds from Olympia?
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Jen? I think that was kind of nice. Yeah.
Jen's pretty
on
good
the-
with
on the
computers, she can
budget.
get in there.
Huh?
On the budget and funds, did you look into the late fees that Troy was talking about? Did
Oh, we
anybody?
haven't looked into that yet for the roads.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the trucks. And no, I don't think we've called anybody about that one yet. But it's still on his mind. I know every time I see him, he says something about, yeah, why don't we get late fees? But yeah, so that's something we'll have to call the state, I guess, to get some.
And not just for this year, the back years as
Yeah,
well.
let's get 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever done it.
we
Dog
all
park.
have to pay it.
Yeah. Dog park. Did somebody ask to have this on there? I know we mentioned it briefly. The dog park. When did you want to?
Well, Alex mentioned it at
Yeah.
last meeting, remember? And I just talked to Judy. She's having a garage sale on Saturday, and part of that money is gonna go for the dog park.
Okay.
So,
Can we start building up some money to do something with it?
yeah, well, yeah,
If that's what the council wants to do. Yeah. Anyway.
on that little triangle piece of property where at one time we talked about having the pump tracks there, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
And a long time ago, the idea of a dog park came up for there too,
Yeah.
and it just never went anyplace. I don't know. It's just we never
I
funded
think
it.
I think it would be good to have one, and that's a good spot for it, you know, it's
What about
basically unusable.
the residents
you
around
know,
there? Would they
I don't know.
have objections?
They might.
Yeah, it's something we'd have to. Yeah, I would definitely want to talk to the neighbors to make sure.
Well, you kind of have to.
We'd have to
Yeah.
hold some public hearings and get,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be
yeah,
to
it's
just
all
throw it in there
something
without.
that, you know, yeah, it's just something they're talking about
And-
now.
Yeah, and would that, I know it fills up with water in the winter.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
I
get
think
kind
that
of
Troy
wet.
said that he had
So it's a
plans or
dog
something,
pool.
some runoff or
Just
something for it.
Kind of make it go someplace else a little
Yeah.
bit.
it rarely fills up, it doesn't hold water.
No.
No,
Sometimes it does have overflow, like if
It
we
was-
have torrential flooding.
And I-
which
Right,
People
right.
aren't gonna bring their dog there.
So it's doggy mud baths.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Doggy
sure,
lake
I'm sure they'll
slash
come one time with their dog and then never come again, so, when it's like that.
Dog pond.
okay, so it doesn't stay there.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't stand. Discussion on the 723 council agenda. I did have, I talked to the last meeting, I talked about those water rights. We had two companies that kind of put in, gave us a kind of just a general bid on what it would cost, so I did reach out to them. Still, the one that's here locally is lower.
Yeah, right.
And so I just talked to her, got her today. She sent me kind of a more formal proposal. It's $8,500, but we'll bring that back to the next meeting for your review, and so we can get moving forward with that. It's interesting. I talked to Troy today, and apparently they got a new pump on one of the wells, and I'm not an expert at this, but he was talking about when they pump water from that newer pump, that it's dropping the level in the second pump is dropping the level in the second pump is the water level in there is
Oh,
dropping.
dear.
So he's thinking we got to lower that whole in that second well. We got to lower the pump down further because
Because
and
it's
I don't-
taken up from one.
and I don't know because I guess one's in front of the other one, so it's drawing water out of the. But anyway, so never ends. Yeah, the water rights and the water.
Yeah, if it isn't one thing, it's 20.
Yeah.
I know I see my neighbor's water, and in the middle
Oh,
of 3
water, yeah.
o'clock this afternoon, and I'm like,
Now, isn't
Right in the
that-
middle of the hottest part of the
Isn't
day.
that
the
smart?
literature.
Well, but it's not a smart thing to do regardless. It's
I-
just
I know.
evaporates.
Half of it
doesn't-
evaporates.
You know, she's not doing any good at all.
And I thought, oh, did you read any of the literature
I
that was
doubt
set in
it.
the water bill? You know,
But one of the things somebody told me when we first started talking about this is how fast. I think the water flows from kind of the
From up
east
that
down
way, all
to
the
the
way
west.
down.
And they said the water moves through here very quickly
Very
compared
fast.
to, and so I'm guessing that might be part of why that level drops. If, you know, the water's not just
Well,
standing there as a, in
Yeah,
a,
it's
in
not
a,
dry, and plus you got a brand new stronger pump. so-
yes, so it's really, yeah. Anyway, I think that will probably be part of what they look at, so. Anyway, that's where the water rights thing is. What else
I'm
did
just
I?
hoping that my lawn actually goes to sleep.
Yeah, that's why mine too, so I don't have to mow it anymore.
Yeah,
Oh my
just go to
gosh.
sleep.
Anybody else have anything for the next, next council meeting? As always, you can add it later, but, okay, if I hear anything, let's just do reports since we got some time, and then we'll just have a real quick, regular session.
Well, let me go ahead and start with mine. They're tomorrow and Friday.
So yours are done, okay?
Mine are
Let me,
done.
Okay, all right.
let me get,
Cut, it wasn't your turn.
Chamber of Commerce,
The next Chamber Luncheon Forum is Wednesday, July 17th at noon at the Sandstone. The guest speaker will be our own Tenino Mayor, David Waters.
hopefully I'll make it this time after, yeah.
The Chamber will be announcing the Grand Marshal and Citizen of the Year for Oregon Trail Days. Oregon Trail Days will take place July 26th through the 28th. Tenino Lions Club's Grand Parade will be Saturday, July 27th. The EDC's reports, the next EDC meeting is the 25th at the EDC office and on Lacey campus. It will take place from 3 to 6 p.m. It is the EDC's Hootenanny Summer Celebration and Annual Courage Awards. To get tickets, visit www.thurstonedc.com. The South Thurston Economic Development Initiative will take place on Friday the 19th, 8 a.m. to 9:30 at the Quarry House. Speaker will be Annette Pitts, CEO of Experience Olympia and Beyond. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for giving the report. Oh, that's all.
That's it.
I
Linda,
don't have to go to the meeting because I'm going to listen to her
Linda,
tonight.
can you do us a favor and thank the Lions Club for making sure that the parade actually came off this year? I was talking with George, apparently it was the Lions Club that stepped up and is paying for the insurance and all that stuff to make sure it
They've
happened.
done that for the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, this is the first one that I knew for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, it last 2 or 3 years. That's why they're doing it, is because it can be covered under their insurance.
Study, I kind of got there right at the end of the meeting. Linda, do you remember anything? Was there significant that was in study?
Well, steady with the last meeting was, where we got the
We got the
$10,000
check.
check for the
For-
cabins. I mean,
Cabin.
cabin, yeah. Other than that, no. I think you got everything else I got, yeah.
Yeah, Arch Commission, VCB is going to be here today at our regular meeting to do a 15-minute presentation on the project they've been working on. Library probably won't be here until later.
She might not be here, period.
It may not be here, period.
Something warm.
Yeah. Committees and commissions, civil service,
No,
think there's been anything there. Facade improvement, I'm guessing nothing there. Oh, yeah,
Well-
you do have the,
we decided that we would allow Casey, that's buying the feed store and those 3 buildings, to get a separate facade grant for the old hotel, the Gold Building, so that she can do something with the outside of that to make it look better. So that she would be getting $2,000, depending on how much it costs her, because she'll be reimbursed for 1/3 of whatever it costs her to fix it up. And I really want to turn that into a hotel. I really do, or a little bed and breakfast with a downstairs,
Like a
they have a
little
little
eatery
coffee
thing.
shop with a light breakfast food, you know, and a couple rooms up above, because it is the old Tenino Hotel, you know, and I think it would be really nice to do that.
You don't want to share what we talked about in our meeting earlier today about what to do with that? Remember?
Oh, all of it? No, I'm not going to. That was awful. No, but I really do think that would be
Yeah,
really
that would be a
cute.
great to make that back into
Sounds
some
like you
kind
have
of
an investor.
Yeah, right. The city. Yeah. I think it'd be
Finance
really
Committee has not met. The Planning Commission, I'm guessing he will be here later. Public Safety Committee, any of you guys meet? Anything?
No, maybe.
Public Works,
Yeah, the Public Works.
Public Works Department, the pool has been really busy this last weekend. This upcoming weekend is the STP coming through town, so everyone be mindful of that.
City.
Have patience. It's one day of the year, we can all handle it. We are prepping for Oregon Trail Days, mowing, weed eating all next week. Streets, we have been trying to do some street painting, crosswalks, stop bars, and school zones. We've also been working on replacing street signs, and we'll be out street sweeping next week.
Are they gonna put on Sussex and Reynolds, put a real sign there?
Yes,
you.
I think it's been on order for a little while.
And a what? What's
Reynolds and Sussex,
Or real
someone
sign.
made a sign there because I think the Amazon
Couldn't
man was
find
missing
it
the
or
road.
whatever, so-
So I think someone hid it or stole it a really long time ago. So I know
Okay.
Troy's been trying to get that
Probably somebody who lived there half their life and wanted it for a souvenir.
souvenir.
What's wrong with people? I noticed that they've got traffic counters just right by the gas station. Coming
There's some
across
over
the
on
road.
Wickman too right
And there's
now.
some down here too.
Mhm.
So maybe they're planning on doing something to the roads.
Maybe.
Maybe a roundabout or something.
Yeah, if they're gonna build a roundabout, don't say that.
Don't start
Yeah.
saying that.
Little one, a
Little
little
one.
one that the trucks can't get around.
Yeah.
Keep them from coming through here.
Do you have one from the police too, or do that one?
No,
not-
I'm
yeah.
just waiting here till it's my turn.
Okay. Code enforcement's not here, park specialist, clerk treasurer.
Yes. FYI, Jessica did tell me she doesn't have a report, but just to let everyone know, the pool's been busy, and we're working out all the kinks. And thanks to everyone who's visited and enjoyed it. We're getting almost all positive feedback, so it's great. We had lunch last week with Representative Barkis, myself, the mayor, Linda. I thought it went great.
Maria.
He's our new representative that's taken the place of Peter Arbarno, who we had a great relationship with, and so he wanted to just chat with us and us to start working on a wish list. We talked to him about water rights. We talked to him about streets and how, it was awesome when we could annex West Tenino but then we found our friend the gopher, and now we can't, but now we have the responsibility of the road, and
Yeah.
now we can't afford the road because we can't do the infrastructure. So it was great to share that feedback with him, and he was really receptive. So we're looking forward to working with him. We
So
submitted.
if you guys have any thoughts,
Oh, yeah.
they wanted, sorry.
No, you're
didn't mean
fine.
to interrupt you. I mean, he wants to start getting us to put in requests to him so they can start kind of going through them before the session starts. So if anybody has any ideas on, things or projects that
Top
would be
priorities.
good, let's speak up.
And we're in a good position with him because he's on the transportation committee.
Mm-hmm.
He is the,
Is he the chair this year?
no, because he's a
He's not
Republican.
the-
What is it called? Gosh, then where's my brain? He's the ranking member in the House, which is
Okay.
one step
Step
down
down.
from the chair of the transportation. And our friend Peter Arbarno is in that same position with the capital budget. So we're in a pretty good position to get maybe some things. that
And
we
Peter
want.
Arbarno, when I saw him at the pool, he was like,
Oh,
I'm
don't
still
worry
here
about
for you
it.
guys. You just
Yeah,
call me
yeah.
when you need some help or support. I'll be
Yeah,
there
I went
for
up
you.
to him
So-
and I said, I am just really bummed. And he says, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Andrew Barkis told us that day that he works with
Closely with
Peter
him.
pretty closely on different
Yeah.
things for the art.
I thought it was
Especially
great
his
to hear.
seatmates.
how much Barkus loves our park and utilizes our area, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he says he's here quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
What was there, something else that we talked to him about that the council wanted us to mention to him? Now I'm trying
It
to-
was our audit costs.
Yeah, we did talk about, remember you asked about, to say, why are we paying $60,000 for, small cities? There should, what I said, there should be some kind of funding, some kind of grant funding for small cities,
We
and
don't even need a grant funding, we're already
or
paying for it.
just pay for it, yeah. So he was receptive to hearing that too. I don't, that's one of the things.
Yeah,
We'll probably
yeah.
have to keep pushing him, because it'll that might slip by.
Well, put it
but
on
let's-
just put it on the wish list. As
Yeah.
long as Caden, his LA, has got it, then they'll refer back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And then a reminder to everyone, Glusenkamp Perez's team will be here tomorrow at City Hall from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. hosting just an open place for anyone in the community to come with feedback and concerns, or I did send it off to quite a few people in the community, the stone carvers, and
I'm telling Pam right now, you want to
Okay.
be involved, Pam.
yeah.
It's,
Congresswoman Camps Perez is going to be here from 11 to 3 tomorrow here in the chamber.
Well, not her, but her team.
Or her
Her team.
team.
Yep.
yeah.
And they're looking for feedback
And they
from
want
community
feedback.
members on what, they can do for us and what our
Yeah.
needs are. So, just reminder to everyone about that. We'll
What they can
try
do
to get
for
something on
us is to
Facebook.
make it not so difficult for small communities to be able to spend federal money. We can ask for it, we can get it, we can't spend it.
it's hard to, it's not easy.
Well, I think that she was probably the woman that's gal that's going to be here is her executive assistant, and she did give a presentation at the steady meeting. You weren't there for that.
Sarah Cahoot, I think.
At the steady meeting.
I didn't hear that, yeah.
Yeah,
there.
she and
They had three
I think it's
different
Marilyn
reps there.
Strickland's, Congresswoman Strickland's
Assistant,
her assistant. I think they really played off each other really well in talking about what they can do for the people, and it was interesting.
And then I got to him after the meeting.
Oh, good for you.
All right, that's all I got.
I would just add on for anybody, if anybody's watching, they also will help people that are having difficulties like with Social Security, any
absolutely.
of those kind of things that people, if anybody's listening, that if you have problems dealing with that
Right.
agency, she'll help you navigate that. So it's not just about, grants and those kind of things, but it's how to help people that are having difficulties.
Any agency,
yeah.
any of the state agencies, that's what they do, and that's what the legislative assistants in the offices of our representatives and senators do also. They do that same thing. But when I worked for Brad, Norm Dix was the congressman from the 6th district, and he had a gal. Her name was Sarah in Tacoma. That when I got a call about Social Security, I just shot it off to her, and man, she was right on top of it, always. So that's good to know,
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to look back in my calendar to see what I didn't do a very good job of preparing about what I've done. I worked on a lot of it we've already talked about, working on the budget stuff, worked on getting those water, whatever you want, the water things, talking to them about redoing the water rights issues with those people. I think I talked about the AWC annual conference. Did I talk about that last time?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did. I met with Cheryl briefly just to go over make sure we're got it all on the same page for Oregon Trail Days. There's not really anything there. I think those are the big ones. She stole my presentation about Barkus, so you've heard all that. I did meet with a good one to bring up. I did meet with Bucota's new mayor. She got thrown into a spot. She's not been on the council very long, and you know how Rob did everything for that city, from working on their fire trucks to basically running everything.
Mm-hmm.
So. They have some issues that she's struggling with. Money is one of them.
Always.
They
The budget's only about $250,000 a year.
They have a similar situation that we did a few years back where they've had a turnover of several clerk treasurers, and kind of the same things happened with them. I asked her, you know, hey, we should bring a budget just so we can look at it. And she told me they didn't even know how to print out
They
a
don't know
budget.
how to print the
They
budget.
didn't know how to print
Wow.
out, they had to call somebody to figure out how. So what I gave her, my advice was, before we start talking about anything, you should probably do what we had to do and call
MRSC.
MRSC and get some help to make sure, because I don't think they really have a handle on where they're at in their budget or anything. So it's hard to talk about how you're going to do things if you don't know what money you have. So she is, she's trying hard. She seems very sincere to me, and to be a good person. But it's a big one to step in without having anybody there to really,
Well, she's got a business mind.
and she's got a
so-
business too. Yeah, so I think she'll do well. But
Just needs to settle in.
yeah, it's going to take a little time. So I offered her, if there's, she needs something, to call me. I don't know what I can do too much, but I can
Give her a
maybe
little moral support, if
yeah.
nothing else.
get her headed in the right direction on some things, maybe, if she has,
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was kind of I think we were there almost 2 hours, just talking about, all the things that
Well, it's a
they're
tough
dealing with, so.
position for her to be thrown into. How long was she on the council?
I don't think, maybe a year or something, maybe.
And she was mayor pro tem?
I think so, yeah. And I think they're short a council person too, so
Yeah, I
now
think
she's
they are,
mayor,
too.
so I don't even know, they maybe have 3 as
What,
a,
do they have 3 or 5? Do they have 5?
I think they have 5, but they're probably down to 3 with her going to mayor
Oh,
and
probably.
filling one spot. So those were I guess that's kind of what I have. Liaisons, be that, we don't have him. You
Next
have anything?
meeting- Next meeting is August 19th.
Okay.
I'll be attending.
Solid Waste Advisory Committee,
They didn't have a meeting for the month of July. Instead, they had tours
okay.
of the different facilities, the one in Roosevelt and
You check out your garbage.
the recycling
Center.
and whatnot. I didn't go to them because it was too much walking,
Yeah.
so.
Cool. Okay, TCOM, anything TCOM? School board. Did you go to the school board? Happen to go to the school board?
No,
No.
no news on that.
Okay, Thurston County, the Commissioner's Office. I don't think there's anybody report on that. We got some time.
Legislature starts the second Tuesday or Monday in January, everybody, and then I'm gonna have a report after that.
Yeah, TPB and TRPC are gearing up for it.
Speaking to you, Mike.
Yeah, all the agencies are,
Yeah,
the commissions,
so we can beat up on each other.
yeah.
Anything for the good of order? We got 30 minutes. Anything?
Gotta take a break now.
Yeah, stand under the air conditioning
I
and
think that what we should do is pare this thing back down to
maybe half hour.
Yeah, because sometimes the
There's
work
not a lot of
session is
stuff
only
in there.
like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we got 45 minutes to sit and do nothing.
I think there's anything that we. Anything that,
I heard that the
What are we
girl
doing
that
for Oregon Trail
was
Days?
gonna do the sandstone.
Not
Was
sure.
it now?
Do what
Have you
sandstone?
heard? Sandstone Cafe.
Oh, yeah, she's doing it.
Huh?
She's doing it.
like running it?
Cheryl or the?
Oh, Cheryl isn't, no, Cheryl's
She's
not.
kind of, was this a transition wise to,
She was just helping them through the initial transition.
Mhm.
Dusty Johnson's daughter owns it.
Right,
oh, is
I
that the
heard
one, she's not gonna do it anymore?
yeah. I don't know whether it's true or not. I was just wondering if,
I'm
Anybody?
sure Cheryl would have said something. I don't know. Or Cheryl's been out of town too. I don't know. I haven't been, I've been over at the school and I haven't been downtown at all. Joyce is gone for 2 weeks, so. No, I have not heard.
I didn't know whether it was true or rumor.
The thing is, people have to realize, turn this off, I don't mean. People have to realize how hard it is to run a restaurant, especially
Oh, yeah.
and if you've never done it before. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It would be very daunting. Just, yeah,
And she's young.
yeah, she's that young, but, yeah, she's young enough. She's probably the
Younger
same
than
age
us
as
three.
when I started. Well, I know, but she's probably about the age when I started in that
Everybody's
business.
young compared to us.
About 20, 28 maybe.
She's 24.
Well,
Yeah,
pretty close.
yeah,
I was 28
yeah,
when I started it, so.
yeah.
But I had some really good teachers.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order, regular meeting of the city of Tenino, for July 9th. And we stand up and do the flag salute. Elaine, you wanna start us out?
I'm getting up as fast as I can.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have an agenda. I didn't see it here. Any
Everybody turn their
changes?
mics on.
Move approval.
It's been
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of minutes. We have minutes from 6:25:24.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes from 6:25:2024. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Consent calendar. The consent calendar for June 26, 2024 through July 9th, 2024 consisting of payroll ETFs in the amount of $54,103.08, payroll checks 32487 through 32488, claims checks 32489 through 32519 in the amount of $86,495 for a grand total of $140,598,000. I can't even say these numbers tonight. What's wrong?
140.
$140,598.08.
And
we did have a late addition for liquor license approval for Tipham Back Boutique. That's a new little place that has donuts
Yeah.
down there.
What's she gonna have,
apparently getting,
wine?
Wine maybe,
Oh.
snack bar. So that was added there.
Move approval.
second.
Also, can you put Lawton's excusal on?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And
Who?
yes, he told me last meeting that he was
Lawson.
going to be on today.
Oh.
Jason's going to.
Yeah, he's got an
It's
excuse absence.
excused absence. Sorry. Okay, with that, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
What about just under your display? Your display option?
I'm in display.
Yeah, you are.
Just nothing showing up for me to use. I think that's why it's not giving the connect to where it was displayed.
Yeah.
Would you mind going out and order and approve one thing?
Sure. Go
While they're working on that?
Yeah, sure.
Keep working on it. The one I was gonna say we could do is a resolution 2024-04, the 6-year street plan. I don't think there's not a public meeting, it's just basically adopting that, so
Yeah.
if, let's-
Move approval.
you want, okay. It's been moved, is there a second? I'll read this, I guess I'll read it before. This is a resolution of the city of Tenino adopting the 2020-2025 6-year street plan pursuant to revised Code of Washington 3577.010. I'll just read the first and last if you don't mind, unless you want to.
Go ahead.
Whereas the city duly adopted a new transportation plan on July 14th, 2019,
Last line.
June
and
14th.
July 14th. It says here, is that not the right date?
Oh, no, you're right, that is the last one. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize.
Adopted that by the city council at a regular scheduled meeting this 9th day of July 2024. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This is the street plan we discussed or had the public hearing on last meeting. So this is the final adoption. Any
Okay.
questions about that?
Mm.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no objections, that passes. And we're gonna get this off to the state soon because there's deadlines coming up for some of these fundings, so we
Mhm.
need to make sure we get that in quickly.
You want to go ahead and do public comments?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, John. Should have done that one. Public comments. Dan, got a public comment for us? No? Okay, we're kind of wait until we do the presentation?
Yeah.
Is she hooked up?
No, he's not hooked up, but we're just gonna,
gonna-
I'm just gonna have my computer here.
Okay, and the information, if you have a laptop, is, I think the slides
You've got
are
it,
on
we've
that.
got the slides
You guys
on.
can see it.
Yeah, we've got them on the laptop. Oh, you don't have a laptop, do you, Jeff?
I read the slides earlier. I'm
Okay,
familiar with them.
all right.
So, I brought you guys, hot off the presses, our new, 10-year destination master plan for Thurston County. You're the first ones to get it. We'll walk through the presentation. I'm gonna give you, these things after so you don't get distracted. But, I want to explain, first of all, why we did a destination master plan in the first place. You don't undertake a mega project like this for no good reason. It took us over about a year to get it done. So we'll talk about why we did it. We'll talk about what it is, what it could mean for Tenino, if you want, and what we're planning to do moving forward. So, sorry this is kind of weird, but if I don't actually look at it, I won't know what you're saying. And I will just go off the cuff and it will be weird. So, on the why we did it, there were some problems that we realized organizationally we needed to solve as early as 2021. So that's when I came into my position. I moved here, like I said earlier. I moved here from Wenatchee, where it's always hot. My predecessor had already started what they call a DNext assessment back in 2016. It's an industry standard way that you evaluate your destination and your organization. They look at like these 18 variables and they send this survey out to all of your stakeholders. It doesn't go to visitors, it's only the people that live and work in the area. And they ask them for all their feedback about our various attractions, or I can follow up with you on what all the variables were. But in 2016, Thurston County was found to be weak as a destination and weak in terms of community alignment. And if I had more than 10, 15 minutes, I could tell you more about what that means. But the second part of that was in 2021, after 5 years had gone by, there was already a contract in place to hit repeat on that assessment. And see, before I got here, did the needle move at all? Did people think that we were better, quote unquote, stronger as a destination? Or did we improve our community alignment? And community alignment is really important because if you're not aligned, you cannot improve as a destination. You just can't. Most of the time, most destinations, the chief reason people come to visit is to see friends and family, and then they do all the other things. So if your friends and family aren't thinking really positively about your area as a destination and that you're all lined up working together, they're gonna share that. So that community alignment piece is really really important, not funny. And unfortunately, in 2021, I changed jobs in the middle of the pandemic in tourism. And I was all excited to do this assessment. It was one of the first things that we did. I thought for sure it was going to be amazing. We were going to get all this great feedback. And unfortunately, they said, your peers in the area say you're still weak as a destination and community alignment is still weak. So I realized first of all, right out of the gates, I knew we had an uphill battle that we needed to start working on. And it's not something that one organization can just do. I also realized after I went and met with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that would talk to me when I first came into this role, that we had a lot of work to do in terms of bridge building with our communities. There were, some folks that didn't feel really seen or heard through the work that was happening, and we needed to figure out a pathway to that. Usually that pathway is by operating what they call a destination management model. Is you manage the destination in partnership and collaboration with your jurisdictions and your other organizations. But we were trying to do that previously, but I just don't think it really took off, and we were really leaning hard into marketing only. So we needed a framework to help us formalize how we were going to take those next steps to do better work. And then, of course, during that time, 2021 to 2022 and 2020, and even into 2023, we were still down in hospitality jobs lost from the pandemic. So those were all kind of the big, one reason, here's another reason, and then finally jobs didn't rebound, and we're like, okay, we need to find some money, we got to pay for this thing, and we got to make it happen. So that's why we did the plan. And the plan basically is a framework where you have to get your community members, you have to have them engaged in this process that's inclusive, to help create an outline or a blueprint for how you are going to get this vision of what the future of Thurston County can look like. And it can't just be for what is best for visitors. You have to temper that with what the people who live and work here find important and valuable first. What do they want more of? What do they want to protect more and retain for themselves? Where do they not want to see visitation spike? So that's kind of what the master plan is supposed to do. What it's not supposed to do in the form that you're going to receive is it's not a to-do list. It's not going to be us saying, hey, guess what, Tenino, because one of the priorities that floats up is X, now you have to do this. You're going to love that, right? We would have nothing but great friends everywhere. It should serve as a well to draw from. You're going to see there's 29 issues and opportunities that floated up as the priorities resulting from the plan. And every one of them we're going to support. We can't lead them all. There's going to be some in there that I feel like could be really clear opportunities for the city of Tenino to take a leadership role, and we can talk about that. And when I talk about how it can be a well for you to draw from, let's say you're already working on X. You know you're going to be trying to get a community development block grant or a RISE grant or curb funds or whatever. It would be real helpful to say, hey, we have a document that was created that is inclusive of over 1,000 locals and visitors that said they wanted this thing that we're working on. And it was endorsed by the EDC, by the Thurston Chamber, by the Olympia Downtown Alliance, by the Thurston County, by each one of our jurisdictions. It's going to add a little bit more credence to what you're trying to get done. And then the last thing before I go into findings is I think it's really important for people just to be reminded about what the goal and the role of tourism should be. I think people think about tourism as this little thing. It's nice. People will come and visit. That or it's a horrible thing when it's not planned well and it destroys communities. Neither of those things should be what tourism is about. It should be about helping you protect and grow your quality of life for your community. And generally speaking, that starts with a visit to your area. How many of you were born here?
Well, I was born in Olympia.
Okay, but you weren't born in Tenino.
Well,
No,
so
but I
listen,
spent my whole childhood
Sure,
here, so.
but something brought you here. Your family probably brought you here to visit. You probably had friends or family. We're all imports unless you're born here. And it's because you had a friend, you had a family member, you've got a job, something brought you here. And generally speaking, if you build a place that people want to visit, then you're going to build a place where people want to live. If you build a place that people want to live, you're going to build a place where people want to do business, they're probably going to invest. If you're going to build a place where they do business and invest, you're going to have a place that is more economically viable. When you're in that type of environment, you've again built a kind of place where people want to live. So it's a cycle that we all have different roles in. The Visitor Bureau can't tell you, well, all of our findings said we really want to see more trails. Get out there and do it. But what we can do is provide you data to help support your case for doing what you're either already doing or you're hoping to do. So that's kind of how we see this being a tool for you. I'm going to skip the slide that you can't even see anyway about multi-jurisdictional support because we had multi-jurisdictional support. I didn't counter anybody when part of this was funded through a grant. The other part we just self-funded. When I went out trying to get letters of support for the grant, I didn't find anybody who said, no, we think that's dumb, don't do it. Everybody was supportive. Right out of the gates, we created a steering committee that was larger than what was recommended. We were told by the industry never have more than 8 people in this. We said, oh, that's not going to work for Thurston County. We have 9 communities, first of all, and we need to represent 3 tribes. We need to have private sector represented as well. So we had 18 people on our steering committee. George Sharp was the person who represented Tenino. Michael Cade with the EDC was in it. Dave Schaffert, each of the tribes. We had the county represented. We had private sector represented. Each of our communities, everybody had an equal voice. So the findings in the plan have literally nothing to do with, it isn't the visitor bureau saying, this is what we think y'all should do. These folks met every single month, and they went through this process where we pulled information from a whole bunch of different data sets. So we started out, steering committees meeting monthly. We found that in Thurston County, there were over 100 plans published already that were either strategic plans, comprehensive plans, mitigation plans, transportation plans, you name it. Plans upon plans upon plans, plans about plans, planning plans. And so we used AI to distill from all those plans what are the things that all of these folks are saying in their plans that they're working on, that they all agree on, that they think they're important. What are the issues, what are the opportunities, what are the challenges? So first of all, we wanted to make sure we didn't build a plan that was counter to what everybody already found valuable. We also don't want to be redundant, so we tried to walk a fine line there. We then started evaluating everything under the sun. We did a SWOT analysis, industry analysis, COVID impacts analysis, consumer trends analysis, gaps analysis, market analysis, visitor and resident sentiment survey, a stakeholder survey, and a trip planner survey. So we're pulling data from all sorts of people, right? Locals and folks outside the area. We did competitive set analysis. We looked at other counties that we thought we kind of looked a little bit like, that we could aspire to, but within the realm of reality. And then we looked at truly aspirational markets where we thought that ain't going to happen in 20 years, but we could grow into it someday, or we could pull something from it. We also looked at other organizations, like maybe we're not doing something that we should be. Let's look at what other DMOs are doing that maybe we could do better. We did one-on-one meetings, industry focus groups, public visioning workshop, public forum. The long and short is I think we could not have been more inclusive. We had, like I said, over 1,000 people participate throughout the year, and we really, really tried to get as many voices into that process as we could. So from that, there were 29 things that floated up over and over and over. We decided we did want to capture them all in the plan, because even though if everything's important, nothing's important, we can't do everything at once. We wanted to reflect, because they did show up over and over. So we opted to capture them all, but to break them into 3 phases. That if we looked at them at a county-wide level, they would be broken into these 3 phases between initial implementation, advocacy, and monitoring. I'm not going to read them all to you because I think I'm already over my time limit, but I know you have copies. My board met, and they took a look at, we did an all-day retreat. There's a bucket of items that the steering committee said, we think these are the ones that Experience Olympia and Beyond could and should start leading. The board looked at those and they said, again, if everything's important, nothing's important, and we're tiny. We have a handful of us, so we can't do all the things for everyone, and we don't have a budget. So they narrowed our focus down to 5 to start for us to lead. We're still going to be supporting the other initiatives, but we're going to start actively in 2025, really working on our connectivity. So that's connectivity to all of our communities, whether it's through outreach in person, providing educational opportunities, or making sure that you guys are using our event calendar because it is going gangbusters. We're going to be focusing more on outdoor recreation. We think it's some low-hanging fruit that we've only scratched the surface of, that we could really move the needle and make a big difference for our communities quickly. Sports events and facilities, tourism funding, both for ourselves as an organization and for the projects that people take on. Like, how can we be a supporting partner to make sure if you decide you want to do whatever this thing is in the plan, that we're a partner there and do everything that we can to help you get more money for that as well. And then tribal relationships and tourism. There's a laundry list in the presentation that you have that I can't show you of kind of action items that were takeaways from our board retreat as well, that they said that they wanted us to work on. And I think one of the things that's important and of note is the plan. I'm not sure if it'll be in 2025, but it might be to create a 501c3 to help generate a new funding source for some of these projects that we can't fund You know, we're 85% funded by either tourism promotion area assessments or lodging taxes, which have restricted use. And a lot of these projects would not qualify for those restricted funds. So we're very seriously contemplating starting a C3 to be able to access new funding to help support some of these projects. Next steps are, I know I'm over, somebody get the hook. Next steps are, we are going to continue working on these, but we have to, we're in mid-year, and everything we have to do has to be approved in our budget and has to go through 7 layers of approval processes. So we're working on our 2025 budget, and we will start actively moving forward and reconvening the steering. Well, it won't be a steering committee anymore. It'll be a task force. In Q1 of 2025, we're going to invite in our original steering committee members, but then we're going to invite other folks from the community to be part of that as well. Because I'm thinking like maybe equestrian tourism might strike somebody in Tenino's fancy as a potential area that you guys might want to lean into. Just as an example where you could participate in the steering committee. So there's a lot more things on the next steps, but I know I'm over in my time. So how over am I?
You're good. Do you need just a minute?
Yeah, you can
Go to 8 o'clock. Go to 8 o'clock. You got 8 minutes if you want a little more time.
Okay, so ask me questions.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the 501c3.
Yeah.
You want to create a 501c3 organization, like a nonprofit, like a foundation.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Oh, okay.
It would probably centralize around education.
Okay.
A lot of the things that we just can't fund through TPA and lodging
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
There might be like some public safety. I mean, C3s have tight usage restrictions as well. So we want to make sure that we're being really.
Some late night reading for you there.
What's that?
I said she's got some reading to do.
Oh, you know what? Just grab a bottle of juice distillery. Sit by, your patio and, enjoy some light fireside reading. Yeah. But in all honesty, I really hope that you will, start with a single sheet, and it has, the 29 issues and opportunities that were identified. See what piques your interest. And then I would go into the master plan. Obviously, I would love you to read the whole thing 12 times, because I have. But I know that's probably not realistic, so use the single sheet, like agritourism and the Thirsty Bountiful Byway. You'll probably be curious about it.
Yeah.
So I would look that up in the main document and just see what did the community say about it? What did they recommend? You might look at those recommendations and say, well, I know the community says this, but that's not how I would do it, and that's okay. But it's important for you guys to know, I think, just what does the community think? What do visitors think? And that's what this plan is about. And we will be every year updating it because we know the world's going to change in the next year. So we'll be making an amendment every year. Because it shall not be on a shelf, because it is a part of our actual work plan now. So even if none of our strategic partners say they're going to do anything, we are, to the degree that we can.
Very good. Thank you. And I'll just add that we've kind of set up quarterly meetings. We talk, and so if you have questions that come up, feel free to either give them to me or to her, and we can talk about those when we have our quarterly meetings. And I think there's a big effort to make sure we are including the South County. It seemed like that was an issue some time ago, so there seems to be an effort to try to work together and do some things. So I appreciate your willingness to work with us and make sure we have a voice. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it. I love Tenino, and our visitors do too. So it's a no-brainer. I think the thing that we often struggle with is just because of our office being just a little bit further, and maybe people don't know who we are. The hearing back from folks can be hard, just because I think maybe folks don't know who we are. So even though I've been here 3 years, I feel like I'm kind of like, please let me come talk to you.
Well, and this is, to be very frank,
Sure.
I was not always a fan because it seemed like we were always just left out. But it seems to me now that you're really working towards helping us accomplish some things, and that's good.
I'm glad, because we literally, in our weekly staff meeting, we look at each community and we are trying to check off, are we including everyone? Who did we miss? You know, because it's hard, because we can't be everywhere
Yeah.
every day, and we're not, we try to be experts on every, in each area, but we know that the people who are here every day are the experts. So we're really trying with our tiny team to build those relationships so that we can leverage people's expertise and understand what's important to you so we don't mess up, because we really, we value this relationship in this community. We want to do right by it. So
Good.
I hope that some folks will participate in the task force. Maybe Dave Watterson.
Like what? Be
I
what?
said like maybe
I-
Dave Watterson.
An ambassador? I am one.
No, in the Destination Master Plan task
Oh,
force.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that will start in Q1 of 2024.
Okay. But I am
And
a,
any of you could also be a part of that task force.
I would like to be,
Yeah,
I would like to.
you're very involved.
That would be fantastic.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you. Hey, Jim, just before, sorry, Mike,
Yeah.
just real quick, I didn't have my mic on when we did these things after I turned them off during our break, so I just wanted to really quickly recap. We approved the agenda, approved the minutes. Consent calendar was for a grand total of, just in case somebody comes back and watches the meeting, was for a grand total of $140,598.08, and also approved a liquor and cannabis license for Tip and Bat Boutique. We approved Resolution 2024-04, the 6-year street adoption. So all those things were passed before when I had my mic off, so just wanted to update that. Okay, the last thing on our agenda.
Yep.
Ms. Pitts, I actually had a question, if you've got one more moment. You've used the term community alignment, and I'm not clear what you're meaning by that.
So,
Can I have you answer at the microphone? Sorry, just because we're live on YouTube and
sure.
for the people in the back.
Sure. So when it comes to the DNext assessment, they're going to have a very specific prescribed definition, which depends on those variables that they assessed. And I can email that to you because I do not have it committed to memory. However, the way we look at it organizationally is we need to understand the values and the priorities of not only each of our jurisdictional partners, but our organizational partners, so like our various chambers of commerce, EDCs. We need to understand how our residents feel to the degree that we can. And we know we're not always going to get 100% consensus. We're never going to please everyone. But it's like that old adage about if everybody's rowing in different directions, you're spinning in circles. And I feel like when we think about community alignment for Thurston County, it's understanding that we have these relationships and that we have these lines of communication defined. And we have a framework so that we understand the things so that we can work together. Because I don't think, in previous years that there was a desire to be at cross purposes. I just don't think that there was maybe a framework for everybody to share their voice. And so having the destination master plan, that framework allows for that alignment so that everybody can kind of share their voice. Does that make sense?
It does, and maybe that ties into what Linda's been saying. What the people of Tenino want may not be the same as what the people in Olympia want,
For sure. And 175%. And it's not just the city of Tenino. Every community has its own culture, and you have your own history, and therefore you have your own values. And it's, we're never gonna get it right every time, but we're just trying to make sure and really put energy into having I keep saying, having a framework in place so that we know this is when we talk about what you want, and this is who we talk to, so that we aren't bugging one person. Because I think a lot of the time we're like, hey, and then we realize, wow, we're definitely bugging the wrong person. No wonder they're not calling us back. So it just takes those relationships to know, and you only build those relationships if you put the time into having the framework, and that's what the Destination Master Plan is in part hoping to provide us.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Appreciate you coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
And anyone, I don't think I've ever had a conversation one-on-one with you. I have had a conversation with you. I haven't had a conversation with you guys. So at some point, we probably should.
See you Friday. See you next Friday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Have a good rest of your evening. The last thing on our agenda that we haven't covered is old business, change order for Ag Park North Building. We talked about this briefly at our last meeting, and there were some questions. So that change order is back before us, and we have Mike Marshall here with us he can explain what this change order is for and answer any questions. Mike, you want to kind of tell us what this change order is for? And
Yeah, it's for additional lighting, some of which is battery backup for emergency egress required by code.
I'm sorry, Mike.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Hold on one second.
we're trying to get the mic
See
by
if
the
I can
speaker.
get you louder.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, did you hear anything I said?
No, go
very little.
Repeat.
Okay, okay, this change order is for additional lighting, some of which is battery backup required by code, and some of it is just additional, so it's balanced along the building. So it looks better and it provides more light during the winter. And it was on the architectural drawings, but the electrical engineer didn't catch it. So we didn't put it on the electrical drawings. So this change came about when the electrician, Travers, goes, well, we see these lights on the architectural plans, but they're not on our bid set that we bid off the electrical plans. So what do you want to do? We of course said, well, we need them, so give us a price for them. That's that not only $15,000 change order.
How are we gonna
And
pay for
these
it?
are
And to cover the cost of this change order,
what now?
to cover the cost of it,
Yeah.
aren't we using a credit?
Well, there's a pending credit from the catch-all contract with J.A. Morris. Was that 30 some odd thousand?
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact number. But yeah, so it's not, so there is surplus budget at the moment to cover this in the project as a whole.
As a whole, yeah. It looks like on the paperwork here, the net increase is $15,000,
Yeah,
Yes.
not $50,000.
no.
So, and I can just pass on too that our last kind of review of our overall budget, we were basically even, or we had a little bit of play, but we're not over on our budget right now with the last time we kind of did the evaluation. So it is not going to put us way over for this change order.
All right.
And this change is mission critical, so the longer it gets delayed,
No, we're not gonna
it's
delay
gonna push back opening of the building.
I
it.
understand.
It's gonna push back generating revenue.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand the issue with the delay. And we keep tripping over this change order process, and I'm new here, and maybe I'm still just figuring out. To me, when I get one of these pieces of paper and it just says, we want more money for more electrical, what do I do with that? A citizen comes up and says, why are you giving more money? I can't answer that. If you do business in City of Olympia, City of Lacey, what is their change order process? Do you do the same little sheet, or do they require more before they approve these? I mean, a cover letter explaining what's going on, maybe submittals from the new for the new the new lights. I guess what I'm looking for, because it's not just my purpose.
Hold on, we have some backup noise, so I'm gonna move you over to Jeff so you can hear it better.
It's not just for my purpose, because I'm not an electrician. I know a
Hey,
little
can
bit
you
of
step
the
outside?
construction industry,
And-
so I have
and-
questions.
Can you step
But by
outside?
providing that information on our agenda packet before the meeting happens, there's a chance for other eyes to take a look at it, for electricians in the community, for other people who may have questions about it. We have another problem with the drawings. I expect that Travers is a professional company, and they ought to know that there's external lighting required for the building. That's just code, and that's just how it's done. So to get it this late in the game bothers me. The project's been going on for a while. They've had the plans for a long time, and once again we're getting hit with these little changes. But that being as it is, and the plans are the plans, I really, when we get this stuff from you, give us as much as they're giving you. The letter from them explaining it, your letter to us. Just give us something that we can put on the website for the people of Tenino to say that the City Council is doing their job of oversight. We're not just rubber stamping bills that come across the desk here. And that's my biggest concern, is that my sense of responsibility for the position is that I need to know what's going on. I can't rubber stamp. I just can't. So please, when they come through, we've got your sheet with the change order, but give me as much information as you have, and let us put it up there on the website, and give us a little time to look at it. And I expect these things will go through a lot smoother than what they've been. And I've been the bad guy in all this, and I apologize for that. But again, I feel that's my function here to the voters and the taxpayers, to know what I'm signing the money away for. Thanks, sir.
Any other questions?
Did that answer yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just say, in my
Additional lighting is
Yeah.
what they wanted.
And I just want to reiterate in Mike's defense that he's been our city engineer for a very long time, and we've had dozens and dozens of change orders, and we've always done them the same way, and they're usually just pushed through. So this is just a change that, none of us, it's just new to us. So we will work on getting more information that's now wanted.
But this isn't a required additional lighting, it's
Yes,
just desired, or
It is required. It's
Required.
emergency
Oh, it is
lights.
required.
Mhm.
That is required.
Missed the,
Yeah.
It's
They were
emergency lighting.
on the initial plans of the building, but then they didn't get on the ones that were submitted and approved. So
Didn't get on the electrical plan that they bid on. They didn't get moved from the main plan to the electrical plan. So when they did their bid, they didn't include that lighting.
oh, got, okay,
And that's,
makes
I think that's,
sense, okay.
Yep, that's correct.
See, and that's my headache with all of this. It was in the original plans. Everything was submitted. Tell us what it's going to cost us to do this stuff. They didn't catch it. Wasn't us. They didn't catch it. Why are we being held responsible for that kind of money when it wasn't our fault? Everything was there to start with, and they did not catch it. That is my headache. Their fault, and we're paying for it. The citizens of this city is paying for it. The grant money, but where's that grant money come from? It comes from the people of this community. That's my headache with these change orders.
But again, in the designer's defense, if that work had been on the bid set, the contractor would have put a price on it. So you're being paid for it regardless.
Why wasn't it on, then whose fault that it wasn't on the bid set?
It was a miscommunication between the architect and the electrical engineer.
Okay, again, not our fault, but we end up paying for it. We hire experts so that we don't have to worry about this stuff. And we're worrying about this kind of stuff. And we're not talking nickels and dimes. We're talking real money, especially for a community this size. That's real money. That's my concern about this whole thing.
Delay it because then you're delaying the revenue coming in from the rent.
Yeah.
That's the other side of the coin.
That's not the point, Mike.
Yeah, he understands the point, he understands, John.
And I think we understand the point too, that
Yeah,
every time
we
we
do.
trip on this, it causes a delay, and
That-
we're all mindful
Yes,
here
it
of
does.
that.
Now, it's any more delays, it's just shoving this out to not opening up until like October. So-
We're already out October, we're moving now to
Now,
December.
yeah.
We have tenants that have been chomping to get in, and
Again,
that's,
it's not our fault.
John, it's still something that has to
to be
move
done.
tonight and get done.
I'm not saying that it's not gonna move tonight.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
just saying,
okay.
this is
We
not
have-
our fault, and
believe
we
me, I
need
understand.
somebody that's actually going to,
I
knows
absolutely
what they're
agree.
doing.
there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, so it's hard to find one person to point a finger
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think that's what you're looking for, but there's not really one
there's no,
person.
who's
This
the
is
project manager?
Well, in
That's
this
the
case,
person that you look at.
in this case, we have one electrician who knows his trade and has had the plans for months. You know, maybe Mike, you can go back to Travers and have them spend a little extra time now.
Well, they did present this to us in May, and Mike told us about it in May.
Yep.
So,
I mean, are we gonna have any more change orders?
yes, we are. You want to
Yes.
talk about that?
There's another electrical change order for about 2,500 for our emergency lighting. It was on the outside, and even though it's on the outside of the building, it still needs to be battery backup. And the number on the luminaires, the E at the end of the luminaire number got dropped. So there's another small change order for nominally 2,500 is what I'm being told from Travers to get those, again, emergency lighting.
Well, and we've
for
got the
fire
money
department.
that we, with this excess funds to pay for it, so.
All right, well, write it up for us, Mike. Please.
Okay?
Okay,
But that's not as critical as this.
yeah, this is a big one too.
Right, right.
Like, they're a longer lead item, so
Right.
that's why it's critical.
I want to make I'm gonna move.
Okay.
Somebody make the
Okay.
motion, because I'm not gonna make it.
I'll make it. I'll make a motion to pay the, change order for the Ag Park.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Is anybody gonna second it?
I second.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the change order for the Ag Park North building in the amount of $52,735.20. No,
$15,155.
that's just the net increase of the change order is actually for 52,000, but some of that's coming out of the excess. The actual change order is $52,735.28, and the net increase of this order is $15,155.50 for a total of $430,000, $430,025.78 for the total contract. Is there any, excuse me, any other discussion? Without hearing any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, this passes. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, it passed.
Okay?
Thank you,
guys.
Mike.
Appreciate it.
Okay, yep, okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, I don't see anybody here to finish up any of the other reports, so is there any other last end of the comments, a public comment too? Anybody here? Announcements?
Yeah, just so you guys know what I'm doing. For the last couple of decades, everybody here knows we've been working on bicycle trails, adding more bicycle trails and more. The maintenance part has been pushed off to where it gets to a critical position, and trees are coming up through it, and there's big money that has to be spent on it. But the one thing that I brought up every now and then, and it's never really been discussed, and I'm gonna bring it up again, is security. Thurston County population is growing. If everything that I've seen so far in the last, over the next 10 years, we should be getting really close to 400,000 people.
Is your
More
microphone off?
The more people we have in Thurston County, the greater chances that we have of crime, and it's not easy. We've got the STP coming down here, we've got the Ballards up, and it's not easy for these, our emergency vehicles to go down there. Never mind the police that might have to go down there. Look at Seattle. Seattle's having problems with their trails all the time. I want to see if we can't find some way to get that taken care of, or at least start addressing it. So that when we...
You mean the trail that runs
all
from
the
Yelm
trails.
through?
No, all the trails.
Okay.
So what is the lack,
Mhm.
what is the lack you see for these? The
didn't
vehicles
hear you.
can't, what would you change to increase the security?
to figure out how to bring it. We need to have conversations with the police, the police department, the sheriff's department, fire departments, to figure out what they need to make it easier. If somebody gets hurt on that trail right now, it's going to be a long time before any of our emergency vehicles are going to be able to get out there. We had somebody a few years ago get killed out there just at that turn, okay, on this side of the turn, I believe it was. It was what, almost a day before anybody said, hey, there's somebody out here. So, you know, that takes a long time. And if you can't easily get on that trail because you got to stop your vehicle, unlock the ballards, move them out of the way, and then continue on, that's about 5 more minutes of help that's not been given to somebody. One of the things I've already suggested is those ballards be replaced with ballards like with the Digicons. When the police or fire go through, they hit a button and the light changes. Do the same thing here. Put those on that type of a system so that you can hit the button and the ballard drops and they can just keep going. That's just an idea. But we've never really talked about security for the trails, and it's about time. We're getting to a population base where it's getting there. And when I was working,
Is that, do you think that's the city's responsibility?
part of it is because of the part that we have to take care of. But it's Thurston County, all of us.
I know.
It's all about responsibility.
But it is Thurston County.
That's-
We can't even get them to put a stop sign on
No,
the trail.
you know,
That's
I-
the park entrance.
I understand that, but that's what I'm going to be working on.
Okay, good.
Good,
Awesome.
good.
It will become
I
our,
have not to change the subject, but I have an announcement.
Okay, what's your
The
announcement?
Tenino Lions Club garage sale, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, and we're gearing up for it. It's gonna be another big one, so that's my announcement.
Next week.
next weekend.
Mhm.
Weekend.
Don't forget STP this weekend. Everybody be
S-
safe.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and the vendors, arts market on one side of Sussex and the farmers market on the other side, plus STP.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people in town this weekend.
Yep,
Should be good.
so,
Okay.
Okay.
so to change the subject back again, I had one last comment. It will become our problem once Jessica's plan to open up trails in our new park property.
Those trails are, yeah, different from, yeah.
those are a different thing.
The trails
Yeah,
up
the
in,
sa-
the-
it's
still
the
have
same-
to get
same
it
issue,
access and stuff, yeah.
Correct, so maybe there's some
Yeah.
coordination on figuring this thing out
Now,
with the
you know,
county.
I wish we could have more police. I really do wish we could have more police and more fire and what?
We used to have 5
Well, we don't anymore. You know, our budget does not allow it anymore, so there you go.
Is that it?
That's it.
We're adjourned.